Good morning. We off to shrink this 32-foot cigarette boat with, check that out. We got sun in the sky, ice on the grass. Let's get it. I'm a shrink wrapper. Of course I get the most amount of calls the day after the first freeze.
Of course I'm a shrink wrapper. We're shrinking and it's cold out.
Look at the fog on the creek. That's so cool. Fog coming up on the road a little bit. Alright, time to do the second boat out of these two. This is actually a brother and a sister. So this is the sister's boat right here. This is the brother's boat. It's a 32-foot cigarette style boat. Look at the posts that whoever, I didn't do this last year, but look at the posts. They just put a clump of duct tape and shrink wrap up there and balled it up. We're about to fix that. It's gonna be way better. Professionals. Also, I bought some new shrink wrapping knives. So you want to make sure you got some serrations on there. You also got the flat part, and then you need a sheath so you have access to your knife. We're gonna give these a try today and see how they work out for us. All right, so this is the work we're replacing. This is how not to frame your upper for shrink wrapping. A lot of people do this. They just ball up that so the 2x4 doesn't stick through. What you got to use is those clover caps. I'm gonna put one on and show you how to do that. Gonna make these real tight. It's gonna be way better. Probably only need one post for the back, and then up at the front of the boat, I'll do a shorter one to stick up there. I'm gonna yeet these pieces of junk out of the boat. They were just 2x3s with a big pile of crap on top, all balled up with loose strings hanging off. So I got a 2x4, more heavy duty. I'm going to put the right top on it. The straps are going to be really tight and organized, and the bottom of the post is going to be up against that back seat so it doesn't slide around anywhere. So here I'm just getting my height. Got my skill saw in there, cut it outside the boat so the sawdust doesn't land inside. Boat's still kind of a mess in there. There, got one post, got 4 lines. This is way better. So now the shrink wrap will sit on top of that. We got one post in the front, run a center line, pull the shrink over, good to go. Tie that last strap down super tight. That tightens up all 4 straps when you just do that last one there. So still a lot of leaves and ice in this boat. They just left it open, and I don't even think they're in town. They just sent us over here to go shrink wrap the stuff. Wish I was in Florida, but right now we're shrink wrapping late into the season. Super cold and frosty. Gotta get that money though. Got to. I'll reuse some of the straps from that old post. Post foot, kind of rubbery, so the post doesn't slide off on the top of the boat. That 2x4 foot is really useful if you don't have something to put the bottom of that 2x4 up against to keep it from sliding around. Protect the boat. So we're going to put that 2x4 foot on the bottom and the clover cap on top. I could have gone a little taller with this one, but this is going to work out just great. Thank God that sun is starting to come out. See, John's getting his straps on the side of the hull so he can get the height of the belly band. Getting my 4th tie down point on that front post. Alright, here's my front post. So this is super sturdy. My center strap gonna go from bow to stern. Snow and frost we're working on. This thing is super slippery. Everything's got ice and snow on it. Now we're going to run our center line from that cleat to the front, across the top of that post, and then we'll tie it off in the back in the middle. Roll of shrink wrap's coming out. We're going to go from back to front. Normally we'd go over the side of the boat and just unwrap it, but this is a pretty long boat, so we're going to pull it all the way along from the back of the boat to the front. 32-foot long boat, so we'd need at least 40 foot wide if we were going to go from the side. You only need to go past the bow of the boat like maybe a foot or two, because you can just fold it along the front. Put the shrink wrap away, put my jack stands away, have some room to work, unfold the rest of the shrink wrap. As usual, we get it evened out from front to back and left to right. The shrink wrap's wider than it needs to be. We're gonna have a good amount of scrap cutting off the sides here, but that's what we had on us. So after we got this thing covered, I get my torch screwed into my propane tank. After we're done shifting it, you signal to your partner, hey, I'm cutting now, so don't shift it around anymore. Start getting it tucked into the belly band. Don't worry, all that scrap that's sitting on the floor, that's all recyclable. That's going to go into a recycle bin. Trimming off the excess. You only need about, I'd say, 5 or 6 inches past the belly band, and that's enough to fold it up and over the belly band so you have enough to weld it tight. If you have any more than 5 or 6 inches, then you just have a bunch of excess and it looks sloppy. This looks tight and clean. At the back, same thing. These inboard engines are super easy. You don't have to go around any outboard motor, so you just go over the swim deck, leave those lower units out. You see there, wherever you have any excess shrink, you make a nice clean pleat, and then you weld that up as high as you can go. So you do the whole perimeter, then you get your ladder and you hit the tops of the pleats that you make, because you don't want those pulling apart when it's time to shrink up the boat. We wrap up the front. We include the winch on that, so we can cover that too. Customers like that. And now that we're all welded, we get out the extension pole and shrink up the rest. This is the satisfying part. We got some sun. Typical Buffalo weather, we start off freezing our butts off, and then we're hot by noon. You got John walking behind me, covering up any burn holes and any sharp spots with that tape. You want to make sure you tape any spots after you shrink it, because the flame will distort that tape. It's a long boat, but I don't even need a ladder to do this. Except for this spot. This is the tallest spot. Just a little 3-step stool. Nothing crazy. I like these vents best. You just stab it in there, push it up, and then tape across it. I'm adding vents to this boat because there was frost on the inside, so I want to make sure that the moisture and ice on the inside of the boat can evaporate outside of the shrink. You want to get 2 vents. You want to make sure you have some cross flow. So I'll put one in the front and then kitty corner on the back. Try to find like the most vertical-ish surface that you can find. Yep. That's probably about right. a bunch of different styles of vents. I just happen to like these best. Alright, so we are done. This job took 2 hours and 1 minute. Good job. Another perfect shrink job, ready to go to open up in the spring. Thanks for watching.